Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. This is Journal with Fran and today is a new pen day. So, I don't know if I officially said on camera that I really wanted this year to be like a low spend year, but here I am with more new pen day videos. This one today that we're going to be opening up is actually a used pen. I got it on Mercari, and so I'm very excited to open it up and give it a test drive. Alright, so as you can see, it is a Kaweco pen, and the box here is actually a tad longer than the Kaweco Sport boxes. So if you are familiar with the Kaweco brand, you might be able to already guess what pen this is, but I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Ta-da! So I got the Kaweco Student with the green cap, which is, I believe, called the 60's. So this pen is longer than your Kaweco Sport. We're going to do a size comparison in a bit, but here's a close-up of the pen. You have this cream body with this kind of like grayish green cap. I don't know how well it's gonna come through on this camera with the ring light on, but I really love this green color. And we've got gold trim around the pen. So we've got like this nice classic pen clip with the Kaweco engraving, as well as around the bottom of the clip here. It says Germany here, and then up here on top it says Kaweco Student, Germany. So 3 Kawecos on one cap, but it's okay. And the grip section and nib are also gold trim, but the nib itself is actually stainless steel. So here's a close-up, and I did get it in a fine nib. You can see, oops, a little bit of ink because I did dip this earlier today, but it is a fine nib, and I'm very excited to test this out with you all. So one of the reasons that I really wanted the Kaweco Student is I test drove this pen the Yoseka stationery store in Brooklyn when we visited back in December, and I just love how the grip section is quite long here. Oops, sorry, I'm off camera. I love how the grip section there's kind of like this inward curve shape on the grip section, and it just fit my hand perfectly. I do rest my pen on the middle finger here, so being able to grab the pen like that or like this and not have any discomfort from the threading of the cap to the pen is amazing. And then I don't know if you can tell, but the body is also kind of curved as well, and it just lands perfectly with where I need everything to land on my hand. So I have the inward curve on the grip section landing on my finger here, and then the other curve landing on the other end of my hand here. So it just feels like it was made for my hand. And so I was very excited to decide that I wanted to add one of these to my collection. However, my issue with, not my issue, but when I wanted to buy the pen at Yoseka, the color that I wanted, they didn't have in a fine nib, and then the colors that they did have in a fine nib wasn't one of the colors I wanted. So I was debating between this green, the brown, and the orange, and I forgot what years those colors are, but I think eventually I'll want to add those to my collection. But I saw someone selling this on Mercari at a really great price, so I just decided to bite the bullet. So my Mercari seller included an empty ink cartridge, which is awesome because that's the hack that I use for inks in Kaweco pens. But they also included the standard Kaweco blue ink cartridge that I think comes with every Kaweco pen. It comes with every Sport that I've purchased, so I would just assume the same. But the added value in this package is that they also added a Kaweco converter. So that would go straight into here. You'd push and pull to get your ink out. But I think to start, I don't know, I may use the converter, but if you look at, oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on in here. If you look at the two, like the ink cartridge versus the converter, the ink cartridge obviously has a little more capacity for ink. So depending on what ink I use and how long I want to use the pen with that ink, I may just go with the empty cartridge. So quick size comparison here, which I have been enjoying doing with all my pens lately. So obviously I'm going to go ahead and compare the Kaweco Sport. Also going to compare the Sailor Pro Gear Slim Mini, because those are like my, I guess, pocket-sized pens. And then some of the regular sized pens here that I have are Sailor Pro Gear Slim. I've also got a Pilot Kaweco, Sailor 1911. Let's do the Platinum Century 3776, and then my Esterbrook SD. And then I think that about covers the different pen body types that I have. Oh, there's also the Platinum Preppy that I have here in white, in case that's helpful for anyone, because I know that between the Kaweco and the Preppy, those are like my starter affordable pens. So here you go. So I think in full body length, the Platinum comes the closest next to the 1911S. I mean, obviously the 1911S is more like a cigar shape, but there you have it. I would say if you're carrying around a pen, it's about the same size as a Pilot Kaweco. But as we know, when you uncap pens, sometimes the lengths don't rank the same. The pen lengths don't rank the same. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna uncap most of them and see what, ooh. So see, the Kaweco is a little longer. The 1911 the 1911 is shorter. I can't imagine the Pro Gear Slim, yeah, even shorter. The Century, the SD, the Platinum here, and then obviously the Kawecos are much shorter, but yeah, same with the Sailor Pro Gear Slim Mini. So with the minis, I feel like you would cap it, but I mean, then I would have to cap the Student, but. All right, so I would say the Student is still pretty close to a Kaweco, but I think the closest might be, it's like hard too because the nib lengths are also not the same. So I would say that the Kaweco is the closest to this Platinum Preppy. It's on the smaller side of nib sizes, which I personally like. I mean, obviously it's the same nib as the Kaweco. And then the Sailors are Sailors are a little longer. The Pilots are, yeah. And then the Esterbrook and the Century nibs are just like much larger. But yeah, so that's the comparison here. And now we're gonna move on to the pen tests. So as I shared, I did dip this pen earlier. So let's see if there's still a little ink in the nib to do my live pen test. So just find a blank page here. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna find my other Kaweco page and do that. Here it is, my cute little writing sample. Okay, it's not that cute, but here's today's writing sample. This is the Kaweco Student in Fine, and as you can see, it's very similar to Jacob's Kaweco Brass in Fine. So, I mean, I would expect nibs of the same brand to be consistent with the like nib size, like the nib, the writing width. Here's my Kaweco AL Sport in Extra Fine, and I remember in that video saying how I kind of preferred the brass fine, so I'm glad that I now have a Kaweco in a fine and in a student, in the student body size. So super excited about that. Might consider, if I get another one of the colors like brown or orange, I might get that in extra fine just so I have some variety. And also Kaweco nibs are not hard to switch out, I think, if it's like, yeah, we'll see. So there's my verdict. I am in search of like a green ink to use with this. Here are some of my ink samples. I don't have many greens. Like the only green that I have here is Pilot Iroshizoku Shinryoku. So I'm not going to use that. And then as far as my ink bottles go, I also don't really see a match. These are a bit too dark. So I'm looking for a brighter green, but kind of like a grayish green, if that makes sense. Or like a matcha latte green. I don't know. So if you have some ink recommendations, let me know. I will be ordering some samples soon. All right, friends, thank you so much for watching this video. Looking forward to hearing from you in the comments below. If you have recommendations, please give this video a thumbs up to support the channel. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you at the next one, my friends. Until then, have a wonderful day.